Good morning and happy Tuesday. How are all of my crafty friends doing today? Welcome to my live. If it is your first time watching, then a special welcome to you. I am Taylor. I'm the creative director here at Tailored Expressions, and I go live every Tuesday, sometimes more often, but always every Tuesday at 10 o'clock Central Time. So mark your calendars, be here. It is a fun time for us to go over what our newest releases are, and then also get crafty together. So as you're hopping on today, please leave a comment. Those of you that joined us over the weekend, let me know if you have recovered from all of our crafty fun.
Woohoo! I'm fully recovered.
Yes, are you?
I think so, yes. I'm ready for more craftiness.
It took me a couple days. It's always such a fun time. It's fast-paced, and lots of crafting happening in a short period of time. And of course, I stay up later than usual, chatting with all my friends that are in town. And so it's just can be kind of a tiring couple of days. And then it was fun to take Sunday and Monday to relax, recover, read all of the wonderful comments that those of you who attended had to share with us, that you just had a wonderful time. So that always fills my cup and just makes it extra special, the cherry on top at the end. So let's see who's here today. Hello, Nancy, recovered from the weekend and energized. We have Melissa, who hasn't recovered from the time change yet. That is the truth. That is the truth.
Yes.
The only thing I like about the time change is the extra light at the end of the day. Otherwise, it's just tiring. That was the other thing about this weekend. We apparently planned our Stamp Joy during daylight savings time and didn't really think about that until it was happening. So, hi Deneen, a warm day in Kansas City. We had a beautiful day yesterday. It was like 78 degrees here, Whitney. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, it was gorgeous. We spent last night outside. The kids were jumping on the trampoline. The sunset was gorgeous. It felt like summer in the spring. So we needed that little bit of what's to come, kind of the foreshadowing of what we have to look forward to. We have Donna here today in Tennessee. Hi, Sherry in South Carolina. Hello, Teresa. Teresa is a VSJ survivor, she says. Hi, Debbie. Trying to check out this morning, but having difficulties. I don't think we're having any web problems that I've heard about. We've got orders streaming in as usual. So you can always email our customer service at support@tailoredexpressions.com, and they can help you troubleshoot. Sometimes it happens to be something in your cart that might have gone out of stock since you added it to your cart, and that might be preventing you from checking out. But they are always available to help. So we have Nancy over in Cedar Rapids, and Susan's here from Southern California. Yeah, Carrie's vote would be to do away with daylight savings time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, as I get older, it affects me more too. I feel like I need that extra hour. Yeah. I saw a funny meme that said something like, I was planning to get my life together during that extra hour that I lost. So I guess just can't get my life together because I lost that hour. Oh, all right. Well, let's talk about what we have going on this week. As I mentioned, we just wrapped up our virtual Stamp Joy annual spring event, but we have another event coming for you guys. We are super excited. This is the first time we've done a summer event, and we are inviting you to join us for summer school.
Woo-hoo!
It's the best kind of school, right, Whitney?
Yes!
Because summer school was kind of, at least growing up in my day, it was a little bit of, some people took it as more of a punishment, like I have to go to school through the summer, and others took it as a really great time to keep moving forward, those really motivated, overachieving children.
Yes, yes, we have those.
Yes, yeah, so sometimes summer school got a bad rap, but in this case, summer school is going to be super fun. It is a 3-hour long class that we are going to dig into foiling. So we have information on our website about the course and what you're going to get when you take the course. We've got exclusive products that are going to be available early for those of you taking the course. You'll get those in your event materials that are shipped directly to you. And then we'll have an early release like we did for Virtual Stamp Joy where you'll get early access to some of the products we're using. And then we have early bird discount right now.
Woo!
So if you sign up before March 24th is when that ends at 11:59 p.m., you will save $20 off of the registration cost. So it's going to be super fun. I know lots of people have signed up. I can see some of you leaving comments that you're all signed up, Valerie and Sherry and Joanne and Michelle. Awesome. Well, we are excited to see you there. And yeah, that is summer school.
Did you tell them, are we telling people what we're doing at summer school?
I did. I said we're exploring all about foiling. So
Perfect.
I know. And I've seen some comments from people that have said, I've had a mink for a year and I still haven't gotten it out of the box. So if that's
Perfect
you
timing.
and maybe a new machine just gives you a little bit of fearfulness and you haven't taken it out of the box, we're going to go through setting up your machine, how to use it, what tools you need. There will be a supply list provided for those of you that are taking it. Obviously, we're talking a lot about a mink machine. You will need one of those in order to really get the most out of this class. There are non-heat foiling options that you don't need a heat source for, but really all the cool ones require a heat source. And so in order to kind of help you guys out with that, if you don't have a mink yet, if you sign up for the class, you're going to receive a coupon code with your confirmation that is going to give you 30% off the mini mink. That is a great deal. 30% off a mini mink when you sign up. And hopefully that will, kind of reduce some of the costs that you have to put into it if you don't already have a mink. So yeah, we're going to do some super fun techniques. Toner foiling. We're really pushing the envelope. Susan and I are going to be teaching this class together, and we're really coming up with some fun new things that even we hadn't tried before. So, alrighty then.
And the class is available afterwards to watch anytime.
Yes, because it's a virtual event, even if you can't attend on June 14th when we do the class live, you will be able to access those class recording forever. So that'll be great. No reason not to sign up. You can always enjoy the event at a later date as well.
Yay! So many excited friends.
Yes, I've got a question, it looks like. Charmaine is asking, will it be an overview on foiling? So if you aren't new to foiling, it may not be a good idea. I would say no, it is not an overview on foiling. We'll spend some time at the beginning helping people understand how to use their carrier sheet and what does the special magic shim do, and how do you turn your machine on, and what setting do you want to set it to for best results. I think those are all good reminders for those of us who have been foiling even. I always pick up a few little tips and tricks each time I listen to somebody talk about foiling. So we'll do a little bit of that, but then the techniques are really, we go from the simple, toner foiling into the more in-depth foiling. I don't want to give too much away, but there's lots of different ways you can continue to use foil leftover pieces. You can use different types of materials to send that foil back through again. So we've got lots of tips and tricks, and I think even if you are loving foiling, there is something for everyone if you've been doing it for a while. Plus, you get new early release products that will come straight to your door, special things just for those that are attending the class. So that's always fun too. All right, let's get started on this week's release then. This is something that we talked about last week at Virtual Stamp Joy. It was a big hit. And when I mean big hit, I mean people have been ordering packages upon packages of this new product that we brought in for Virtual Stamp Joy and taught in one of our sessions. And now we're making it available to our entire audience. And I'm going to pop it up on the screen here so you can see what we're talking about. This is called Perforated paper, and that's what we're exploring this week. We're calling it a technique week because this is a different type of way to do some of the techniques you've been doing on regular paper. This is paper that is perforated, so it has lots of little holes in it. It is designed, maybe more widely known for cross stitching, but it is amazing, we have found, for giving some fun dimension and texture to your stamping projects. So I'm gonna come back to you guys. Oh, I can't forget, we have a special offer. So when you purchase $50 or more from our category of items, our new category that's available this week, you will receive a package of perforated paper for free. Yay!
Woo! More crafting!
Yes. All right, so let's start taking a look at this paper. I have it inside of a package. So each package has 2 sheets that measure 8.5 by 11. And I'll pull them out here so you can see. This gives you the most opportunity or versatility to cut the paper down to exactly what you want. So you'll get 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 paper. This is not a plastic material. This is paper. It is fairly heavyweight. I'm saying approximately 100 pounds. It is a little more flexible than our regular 100-pound cardstock just because it has a lot of little holes in it. So that would create more flexibility in the paper. You can fold it if you want to crease it. I'm not going to do that on mine because I don't want to have a little folded corner, but you can fold it. You can also do things like die cut it. You can cut it with your paper trimmer. You can cut it with scissors. And then as far as creating goes, you can blend on it, stamp on it, stitch it. You can even use paste on it, or you can emboss it with an embossing folder. Now, some of those things I'm not sure you would want to do, but you can do them. So I'm going to bring in a couple of samples so that you can see how those things work. So this one is actually embossed on the perforated paper. You can see that design popping out, the dimension. Even when I hold it up like this, it looks kind of fun and just really cool when you emboss that. Now, this is a 3D embossing folder. I did wet the back of the paper with a baby wipe before I sent it through, just to maybe avoid any of the cracking that might happen when you put the pressure of that embossing folder on this paper that already has tiny holes in it. So that is an option. And then Whitney did this one this morning. She blended and then added a iridescent glitter paste over the top. So you can add paste and gels over the top of this. It didn't warp the paper any more than a normal paper. It has a little bit of a bump to it, but I think some of these are still drying. Actually, yep, that's still a little bit wet. So, so yes, it doesn't warp your paper in order to add those liquids to the top of, or paste to the top of it. So that's fun. And then we took a die that was maybe a little bit more intricate and cut it with the perforated paper, and you can see it die cuts beautifully as well, which means you can stamp, stencil, die cut an element from this fun paper and then use it on your project. So again, really fun to experiment with this, and the packages are 2 sheets in a pack. I'm going to leave this out because we're going to use it here in just a little bit. Now, I did already go through this release in our Saturday preview, so you can catch that on the fan page. We might be able to share the link here if you haven't had a chance to check out all of the new products that are being released this week. I have just a couple things that I wanted to show you that I didn't get a chance to share in that product reveal video. So we have 2 products that are brand new to this release, along with several others that we had previously offered in events that we have done, and those are now available in our catalog for purchase. So the 2 brand new products that we have are the Quilted Layering Stencil. This is the one we're going to use in the live today when I get crafty. And then we have this really fun rotating checkerboard stencil. So we figured out how to be able to blend your squares and then rotate that stencil 90 degrees and then blend another color. You can come up with either a two-toned checkerboard, or you can use 4 different colors to create a checkerboard with just one stencil. So I'll show you, these are the projects we're going to create on the live today. I am going to share with you how to get the most out of a 6x6 piece of of perforated paper, and we're going to cut that down to create 3 cards. Got the other one right here. So we're going to make use of every square inch of that perforated paper. Look how fun that is when you get it blended over the top of those little holes in that paper.
Gorgeous.
Super fun. All right, then we have the checkerboard. I've got a couple of samples that you guys haven't seen yet. The one on my left here was created by Susan. She did kind of an ombre checkerboard. She's got a light, a medium, and a dark teal in that background. And then just kind of surrounded her sentiment with those pretty branches. And then Jill Hawkins created a fun little element here. You can see the die cutting in action, that she die cut that pattern after she blended it with a tag die. I think that's Tag Stacklets 4. And then put some fun flowers on there and a little sentiment.
Cute.
Super fun. So those are our 2 brand new products along with the perforated paper. And then some of our other products that we are sharing this week have been previously offered at events. I wanted to show you this one featuring our Boho Botanicals layering stencil. Look at this. Emily made this. It just came in over the weekend, so I didn't have this to show you during the walkthrough of the product reveal. But I love how she's added the fun stitching. You see how that even adds a new texture on top of the blended layers that she did. I think that turned out so pretty. And then she also made this one, another one using this one is Summer Nights. Is that right? I think the horizontal one is Summer Night.
Yes.
Or is it Summer Days?
Summer days.
Summer Days. Okay. Yes. There's Summer Days and Summer Nights.
I know.
I can't always keep track, but this one is, now I've forgotten, Summer Days, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Summer Days.
Thank
correct.
you. And she blended again over the top of that. Love how that turned out. And, ooh, you know what? I think she embossed this too. It feels a little bit raised on the top.
Fancy.
So, yeah, I love it. And then another one that was previously offered at one of our events last fall was this Woodland Blooms stamp and stencil combo. And I wanted to show you a sample that Jill created because this particular one is a little bit different. It's not just blending, it's stamped and then blended. And so you can see she stamped those twigs in the background using the rubber stamp part of this product and then blended the leaves and the flowers over the top. So it's a great option. It does not, the paper dries quickly, just like it would on your regular sugar cube paper, so you don't have to worry about smearing or waiting long time for it to dry. And that's why it makes it great for both stamping and stenciling. All right. Let's get crafty then,
Yay!
should we?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't wait to see this.
I'm excited. You know, Susan is going live on Thursday, and I don't want to steal any part of what she has to share with you because she's got a really awesome way to use this perforated paper, and it's very different from the way that I'll be using it. And so make sure you tune in on Thursday or make a plan to rewatch because she's got some fun things to share with this product. I love how you can get so creative. All it is paper with holes in it, but there's so much you can do with it.
And it steps designs up so much.
It does. Oh, just by blending on top of it, it gives it that fabric-like texture without any extra work on our part. Okay, so I wanted to cut this down for you so you guys can see that it does cut just very nicely with a paper trimmer. And this is a blade trimmer. You can also use a guillotine trimmer if you prefer. Both of them work really nicely. And I'm going to cut this down to 6 by 6 so that we can use all of the pattern from that stencil. I am going to grab a little bit of adhesive just to make sure that stays in place here.
Is the color of the perforated paper close to our sugar cube? We had a question about that.
Do you want me to grab a sugar cube? You can grab a sugar cube. Oh, I have one here. Yep. Okay. Let me show you guys because I actually forgot a step that I was going to do. So this is what it looks like next to sugar cube. And then if you look at it on my project, so this is sugar cube and this is perforated paper, and I think it's a great match. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I would call it a perfect match, but it is a really, really close match. So those two will go together really well. So actually what I'm going to do that stopping there helped me remember. I am going to take a plain piece of sugar cube cardstock and place that down underneath my perforated paper. And I'm going to show you how when we blend over the top of this, some of that ink is going to go through to the back of the paper here. And we're going to end up with another piece that we could use to make another set of cards. So let's go ahead then, and we are going to put our first layer of the stencil on top of our paper. I have stencil layer number 1 here. And I'm going to take some teal tape and tack that down. All right, then for our first ink color, we're going to do, oh, I got all the inks and then I left them in a pile over there.
I got you.
Thank you. We're going to do pink champagne for the first layer of ink. Let's see, Barbara, that's a great question. I think we have that information on our website, but she said, how close are the holes equivalent to what count of cross stitching? And it is a 14 count. So if you're a cross stitcher and that means that makes sense to you, that is the count of the cross stitch or the holes. All right, so as we're adding this, in order to get this ink to kind of show up a little bit better on the underside of the paper that I placed underneath, I want to make sure I'm giving good pressure to the brush. And I found that when I want the color to seep through, using a bitty blender brush is going to allow the smaller bristles get into that underside a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to stop with the pink champagne and we're going to do guava next. And the guava is going to be concentrated in the center of these little quilt squares.
I never knew what quilt square, what barn squares were.
Yes.
I think I learned at this when I moved back.
When you moved back to Iowa. I know growing up we didn't live in the country in Iowa, but we actually went for a drive on Sunday. It was beautiful out and Henry likes to be in the car. So we drove around kind of small farm town Iowa, and I saw so many barn squares on the barns.
I love it.
It's so pretty and fun to see the different ones. So I didn't know what they were either until I think Lori Craig mentioned it to me, and then I started Googling barn squares.
It's like decor for your barn.
Yes.
I know. I love the way
every barn has a personality.
Yes. I love that.
All right, so there's our first layer. And I don't want that paper to move. So my perforated paper is not actually tacked down. So let's get that second layer on there. There are alignment squares on this, so you can line up those squares. You can also just pay attention to where the artwork is falling. All right, next up I'm gonna do Sour Gummy. And this one is going to be applied a little bit lighter on the first layer, and then we're going to use the same ink color to highlight the centers with a little bit darker color. I'm going to pull this up and see how I'm doing. I'm getting some ink through there.
I love that the ink goes so smoothly onto the paper too.
It does,
I was
yeah.
doing mine this morning. I was like, ooh, I love blending on this paper. It just so smooth. And
you would think it might grab at your brush because it's got
Right.
so many holes in it, but it really doesn't. So I'm going to use the same color ink and just really concentrate the ink towards the center of each of these squares using a bitty blender brush. Detail blender brush would probably work really well too, especially if you're wanting that ink transfer to go through the holes. Okay. I'll take my tape off first so that it's ready to go. It's looking pretty.
I know. So excited. People are excited to see what it looks like underneath.
I
too.
know.
Yes.
Well, it is definitely a less vibrant look underneath. But it's fun to get like double the usable thing from this one blend that you're doing without any extra work. Okay, so this is watermelon.
Farley says that Sour Gummy is her current go-to favorite.
Oh,
We really are enjoying it
I'm
as
using
well.
a lot of Sour
I know.
Gummy too.
Yes. Watermelon now. I haven't seen us use that in a while, but it's getting closer
To spring,
to
summer.
Yes.
I know this watermelon is like the perfect summery red. It's not quite like cherry pop. It's kind of darker red, more traditional red. And this one has that little bit of bright, just a touch of pink to it. Then for the center of these squares, I'm going to do the Mulled wine color. What I should have asked everyone is if your desk had recovered from this weekend.
I know.
Because if you're anything like me, it's like a tornado came through.
It is. I get that.
Was cleanup okay yesterday?
Yes.
I was kind of in and out of the office yesterday, so I never really saw the cleanup happening. Came in today and it looks gorgeous. Thank you, Whitney.
Anytime. Actually, I should probably give credit to Sue. I think she came in and must have cleaned up things too.
She did.
Yeah, she was here before me.
All right, let's get this layer off then. Can use our same teal tape if I'm careful. And then we've got one more layer. This one is another color I've been using a lot lately, is passion fruit. I've been putting that in a lot of things. It's kind of a unique purple color.
It is, yeah.
It's more purple than pink, but not purple like jelly donut purple. So again, same color ink to start this one off and then blend the same color over the top with a bitty brush to make it a little bit darker. And then it'll be time for the big reveal.
Pam said she whipped up a calendar and her husband took it to work, and now 4 people at his work want some.
Oh,
I want to know who else has been working on their calendars, because we did a lot of calendars too.
We did. Last week was calendar release, and then we did a calendar at Virtual Stamp Joy. That was fun. So I do love it.
I love the calendars. The one that you made me sits on my desk all year long, and then I just love
And then
it.
do you put a new calendar on it?
I put a new calendar on
every
it.
year. Yeah.
Because I really like it.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work to make one calendar. But I swoon over the arch.
Oh,
calendar.
the arch one.
Yes, I love that one too. So maybe next year I'll venture out and make myself an arch calendar.
Okay, here we are. We made it through 4 layers. Now let's see. I'm gonna peek so I can help you guys. Oh, that's pretty. Here's what we have underneath. And it's all these little dots. You can see again where we were more, where I was more intense with my color, you have more intense dots. But let me show you an idea for using this, because this paper, it is pretty. It's very pretty, but I'm going to show you an idea for kind of stepping it up one more notch and using something that you've already done. So I'm only going to do this with 1 layer, but if we let's pick the Sour Gummy layer, since that was Farley's favorite. And we're going to put this right back over the top. And I'm actually not going to re-ink my brush at all. I've got leftover ink on the stencil, and I probably have some ink in my brush that I can get by with as well. So I'm just going to take and spread that leftover ink back over the top of these dots. And then when we pull this off, we haven't used any extra ink, and we've added kind of a light shade to call our little dots out. So let me pull that up, and you can see now we've got a light shade with the darker little dots inside of it. And you could do that then with all the layers and end up with another piece that you can create with.
So cool.
That
so many people are like, what a neat idea.
Has a little bit different texture then to it, which is fun. Yeah.
So cool.
Okay, well, we're back to this one. Let me get my blender brushes moved out of the way. And if you're going to spend the time blending a whole 6x6 piece, I think you should use all of it. So that was my goal with this set of cards, was to show you guys how to cut this apart in order to make 3 cards. So you can see that I made 2 that look very similar, and then I made a 3rd one with a longer strip on it. So the first thing when you look at this, the first thing you want to do is split this into 2 boxes. So that can be done a couple different ways. You see boxes here, 1 box, 2 box, and then a strip. Or you can shift it over and do 1 box, 2 box, and use this strip. So it's important to cut your boxes first, because I've done it where I've cut the strip first and then been left with not enough paper to make the boxes. So let's go ahead and grab our trimmer. And I'm going to go ahead right here, this box and this box is what I'm going for. So I'm going to cut here first. Okay. And then we're going to cut around the outside edges. There are some alignment squares on here, so I'm going to cut those off. Cut off the excess white from around the edges. And then we're going to cut right here along this line. So we'll be ending up then with 2 boxes, 2 squares of 4 squares. So this piece actually can be tossed, or you can find maybe on the inside of one of your cards you want to put this one is got some stuff holding it closed, but you could put this on the bottom of the inside if you don't want to waste this piece. And then we're going to cut this in half to give us 2 blocks of 4 squares each. There we go. And the way that we've done that has given us 1 square of each color. Isn't that fun?
Ooh.
And then we'll take this one and we'll go ahead and cut off the edges.
Linda Anderson says, it sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. 1 box, 2 box, 3 box, 4.
And then we have our strip. I have a few little pieces that are hanging off the edge of my perforated paper here that I can just snip off. You know, the more that I have used this, if you have a guillotine trimmer, I think it works better. Ours is kind of big and bulky to have on the lives, but having that blade that just comes down across the paper makes it a little bit easier not to tear when you have all those little perforations in it. So I think you can do a blade trimmer, but a guillotine trimmer will probably give you better results. All right, so let's go ahead then and do our sentiments next. So we have these 3 pieces that we can set aside, and we'll work on our sentiments. I decided to pull out, I am always in need of thank you cards. Speaking of that, big thank you to all those of you who sent us candies and
Yes!
So many nice things to get us through Virtual Stamp Joy. We've got chocolates and gummies and nerd clusters.
It'll
and
keep our tummies full and our hearts so happy.
Yes.
Every box was like, oh, I want to try that. We were well sugared.
We were. Okay, so I ended up putting this here because it is a little bit tight on this stamp to get all of the imagery on there. So I'm going to actually cover it with my cardstock, and then there's that little bit of adhesive over here. When I close the back, pick that up, it's going to be just in the right spot. I'm going to be embossing with white embossing powder onto sour gummy cardstock. So we'll go ahead and powder that with our powder tool. I am going to need maybe a funnel piece, Whitney, when you get a chance.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to stamp this with Versamark ink. This is one of our popular all-together stamps.
I love these.
I know, they make it so easy. So you've made multiple panels from one of the 6x6 stencils, and then you want to make them into multiple cards. So what better way to do that than with the all-together stamp, where you can stamp several sentiments together at the same time and then cut them out all at once too. So this one is the thanks. It's a note of thanks, many thanks, thanks for your kindness. Okay. All right, so we'll pour our white embossing powder. I must have grabbed one of our emptier jars, or we've been using it a lot because there's not much left in here. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm going to tap off this end too. And then we'll heat set that. Okay, I might grab my mini mitts for this one because we're getting a little close to our artwork here and I don't want to burn my digits. All right. Let it heat up a second first. There it is. Let's hold just a second while that embossing powder solidifies to the paper. And then I have my little buffing cloth. If you were part of our advent calendar this year, you got this cute little cloth that allows you to then buff the excess powder off of the cardstock and bring back that nice intense color.
Valerie says her husband came in the room when she was embossing during Virtual Stamp Joy, and he was so amazed she had to call him into the room every time she embossed.
He wanted to come back and watch the magic.
It is so magical.
That's great. All right. Grab a few extra pieces of tape. It's always good to get these all together designs really tacked down so they don't shift while you're die cutting. So we'll go down here for one and we'll go up here for one. Then let's go across the middle here. Stick that down. All right, that's gonna cut out all of our sentiments.
Sour Gummy cardstock?
Yes.
Okay.
Sour Gummy again. We'll pop out some of those little extra sentiments here. And then the fun thing about this die is when we fit all these words together, we had some extra spaces. And so on the die, we filled those with little hearts and flowers. And actually the little hearts that I used on all my cards are just from this die set.
Wow.
And yeah, we'll just pop those out. I did have to use little scraps of Sour Gummy to cut some extras because I made 3 cards and each card has 3 hearts on it. So just a heads up, if you're doing the same thing, just grab a little scrap of the Sour Gummy and place it back in that spot where those hearts are on the die. Okay, popping these out. They're coming, but not without a little bit of work. Yay! I'm not going to use these, or am I? Yeah, one of these I am using. I think there was one thanks that doesn't get used in this set that we did. Okay, so as I mentioned, have 2 other cards I want to make, so I'm going to use the excess from this piece of Sour Gummy and just place it over the top so I can get more of those little hearts. And we'll do that a couple times here so I can finish off more of these. And we have a little bit more die cutting to do and we'll be ready to assemble. All right, one more piece here. My plates are so new, I can't find them because they're they're clear. There's no cuts in them, and sometimes I set them aside and then they blend in.
That happens to me. I set it down behind me or turn around and I'm like, where'd it go? It's on the counter somewhere.
All right, we'll bring these last little hearts and pop them out here. I don't need all the extra little die cuts on the sides. So, all right. Now, before we put away our die cut machine, I'm going to cut the layers for our little quilt blocks. This one is going to be cut with our diagonal stitch square stacklets. So the actual piece of sugar cube cardstock is 3 3/8 inch square. If you want to make these as well, just write that number down because I did already cut these so that I could just run them through with my die. And it's going to be this second largest one that we'll do.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Have you started buying Easter candy or is it too soon?
Ooh. Do you do an Easter egg hunt?
Yes.
Or do you just buy Easter candy just to eat it, or do you put it in Easter eggs
Both.
and baskets?
All of the above.
Okay, okay.
But I sometimes buy Easter candy way too early, and then I eat it all, and then I have to buy Easter candy again. So I'm trying to hold off this year.
That's like every holiday.
Oh,
I buy the
no.
candy too early, and then...
I'm like, I will do better this year, but someone sent us those Easter gummies yesterday.
The Easter, Taryn sent us the Easter Albanese gummies, and they are so good.
I already went and bought them, and they're sitting in my
You did.
bag, and I'm like, don't open them, Whitney. Don't open them.
Okay, on the side of this one, I wanted to add a little bit of stitching detail as well. So I have one of our dies. You might have to remind me the name of this. Is it called Decorative Borders?
Yes.
So this die just etches a design into your cardstock. I'm going to line it up perfectly straight along the cut edge. It's not actually cutting anything off of my cardstock. It is simply going to etch the design into it. And I am at a loss for where I put more tape. I just keep grabbing more because I thought I had a little piece somewhere that I could use, and then I couldn't find it. Okay, so let's go ahead and tack that down straight on the side of that piece.
These decorative borders are so useful. I think we use them on our calendars and our...
Sue used one of them, the one with the dots. Sue uses a lot to just poke holes in and then make stitching marks and such. All right, so we have that with that little decorative border on it now. This one is going to be for our strip. So you can see it has a decorative edge, and then I can trim off the excess. So I think we're done die cutting. We've got a little bit more stamping to do before we can assemble everything. I have a background stamp that I thought looked really fun with these little quilt squares. It's called Pixie Petals Background, and it kind of has little square designs in it as well. So I thought it was a fun one to do with this particular stamp. And I'm going to grab my Misty back again. We'll set that up and stamp it onto Toffee cardstock using Toffee ink. little tone on tone so we're not drawing our eye away from the fun blended design. Okay. So we'll set this up again on this side to make sure that design is straight on there. Pick it up with the back of the MISTI. And then we're gonna do this speedy style. Kind of. Kind of speedy, but I still need to make sure it's well inked. Okay, then let's go ahead and do a little, actually I don't need to do that because I can see right where my design needs to go. Put that piece in there and we'll do another one. Ooh, Louise has already purchased her Cadbury Royal Dark eggs because they're hard to find. That's her excuse for purchasing them early, she says. Okay, last one. One more. You guys are hanging in there for the mass production today. I love it because normally I don't get a chance to kind of dive into the techniques and such as much as going through all the products. So doing those product reveals on the weekends has been fun to give me a little bit more time crafting with you guys. Okay. Check, check. Let's grab our card bases then. I have two top folding card bases and then one side folding. Or maybe I did that wrong. Nope, I didn't. Two side folding, one top folding. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and glue this down. I've been using my Scotch permanent adhesive on the back of the perforated paper and I've had good adhesion with that. I saw some others trying liquid glue over the weekend, and as long as you're doing that really sparingly with that liquid glue, if you're putting a lot of liquid glue on the back, you're gonna get it seeping through the little holes in your paper. But if you're very sparing on your application of the liquid glue, you could use that as well. Some people were using the sticky tape, and that worked well for them. So I think that's another good option as well. All right, let's take our little boxes here. Now when I'm adhering these, I did think about my sentiments are embossed on the sour gummy. So I wanted that sour gummy box in the opposite corner of where my sentiment would lay. So I'm gonna arrange these on here like this with the idea that my sentiment is going to fall down in that bottom right area. Okay. All right, there's our little decorative quilted pieces. Now let's go ahead and adhere these guys. Oh, and we're out of paper, out of adhesive. Wait.
Oh, I got you.
Thank you. There's one. Oh, guess what? I found another one.
Yay!
You must have a backup to the backup on the desk here.
Jill Hawkins style, must have a backup
Must
to the backup.
Have a backup. I love that. Especially with adhesives, that's important. All right, make sure that fits on there before I adhere this down. Uh-oh. My backup is out too.
Oh, are we gonna do?
I've got some glue tube here.
A backup to the backup. Here it comes.
You found some more. Okay.
Man, we really went through adhesive this weekend.
Well, you wonder what we did. What did we do this weekend? Okay. This one is going to go down on the left side of my top folding design. And then these two, I popped up onto the other horizontal folding design. Let's go ahead and put some thin strips down. Love these things. It's going to give us a nice dimension without a lot of effort. Sturdy dimension too, because it covers the entire back of our piece. And then when you're adhering these, remember the same thing. Actually, this is the most important part to realize, where that blue piece is at. So top left corner there, and then equal distance centered top to bottom, and then same distance on the left side here. So you're gonna leave this right side open for your sentiment to hang over and some little hearts that we're gonna put on. Blue square, top left. All right, now it's time for sentiments. I can fuss over sentiments for a long time, but since I already did that, I'm just gonna do the same thing that I did before. So we have the two longer thanks because we have this open space for it to hang off. I chose the two longer ones to fit on these two cards. And then the last one that I grabbed was this one. A little bit shorter since there's less space left to write for that sentiment. On this one, I put a little bit of thin foam adhesive on the side here so that it can pop up at the same height as our other piece. And this is going to require me to cut some little pieces, not too many little pieces, but a few. Place that down on there and there. And then just a little liquid adhesive on these letters to hold them down on the other side. Okay. That one says, thanks so much. I'll finish just one of the cards for you guys so you can see one of them completely finished, but now at this point I'm really just gluing. Okay. And then we have those little hearts. Pop those down in place here. Okay, I'm going to pick these up with my pick and place tool and a little bit of that Let's Stick Together adhesive. Come on out of there. I don't want too much, just a little bit. A dot, dot, dot is a lot. we go. So there's a look at one final finished project.
Cute.
Cute.
I love it.
All right,
Colors
you
are
guys. I'm going to come back and say farewell to you for today, and then talk about what we have going on the rest of this week. So thanks for tuning in today. I hope you're excited about this perforated paper. I think it's going to be fun to continue to explore how we can use it with lots of the products we already have in our collection and just step them up that extra little bit. So yeah, thanks for tuning in today. Like I mentioned earlier, Susan is going to be live on Thursday, and she's going to be going over another technique using this paper, and it is a fun one. So we got to do some blending on it today, and I'll give you a little hint. She's going to do some stamping on it, but it is not the kind of stamping you're thinking is going to achieve the results in your head. So I'm excited for you to see what she's going to do. So 10 o'clock on Thursday, or you can watch the replay afterwards. And then guess what? Guess what next week is, Whitney?
What?
It's spring break.
Woohoo!
Next week. So make sure you mark your calendar to watch our product reveal on Saturday. And then Susan is going to be taking over the live on Tuesday again. So it's been a while. I can't really remember the last time I didn't do a Tuesday live, but I am headed out on spring break with our family. We are just headed to Henry's favorite place in the world, water park. So you can pray for me on my spring break.
It's a lot.
I would rather go somewhere tropical with a drink in my hand in a cabana boy, but spring break is for the children, and so yes, that is what we're doing next week, and I will not be here on Tuesday. So I will be doing the product reveal video, and next week is a very exciting release. It is our Pick Your Pairings release, where all of the products we're releasing came from recommendations from you guys. All of you, our customers, had the opportunity to tell us what was missing from our collection to go with products, to pair with products that are already available. And we have some great ideas to showcase. So I will be on that product reveal Saturday, and then Susan will be crafting with you on the live on Tuesday. So super exciting things to come, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And if you're spring breaking, then enjoy as well. We'll talk to you guys later.